Hey guys, what's up? MJ DeMarco here, author of The Millionaire Fast Lane, and today I want to talk to you about something that everyone loves to talk about, and that obviously is making money. So if you're sitting there in your house or your apartment and you're saying, yeah, I would love to make more money, I'm going to tell you the most important factor that you need to follow if you want to make that happen. The most important factor that you need to know is that you have to understand how money works. And when I say that, I'm not talking about mathematics or finance. I'm talking about the fundamental reason why money is exchanged between parties. So, I'll give you an example. There's a quote in my book. I say, money is like a mischievous cat. If you chase it, it's going to avoid you. It's going to hide from you. It's going to climb the tree. It's going to hide on top of the refrigerator. It's going to disappear in the bushes. You chase it around and it's going to avoid you like the plague. Money is the same way. And yet, if you focus on what attracts the cat's going to come right up to you and sit in your lap. If you're sitting there on the couch with a big plate of tuna, guess what's going to come to you? Guess what's going to sit right there on your lap? The cat. That's because the cat perceives you have something that it wants. Money is exactly the same way. Money is exchanged between parties when one party views that the other person has value. They have something that they want, need, or desire. That is what compels people to say, you know what, I'm going to open up my wallet, or I'm going to open up my purse, and I'm going to give you money. You see, the bottom line here is if you want to make money, you have to start creating value. Think about that. You have to start creating value. And yet, how many times have you ever heard someone say, wow, you know what, I'd like to create some value? You never hear that, do you? I've never heard it. I hear people saying, I want to make money. How do I make $10,000 a month? How do I make $100,000? I want to become a millionaire. They all talk about the money, but no one talks about creating value. You see, once you have value in your possession, the money will come your way. But people don't understand it, and the people that don't understand it are always broke because they're focusing on the wrong thing. Here's an example. Here's a $100 bill. What if I told you that my new business was selling $100 bills for 50 bucks? For 50 bucks, I will sell you this $100 bill. Would you take me up on that offer? You probably would, and so would probably everyone else on the planet. In fact, if this was my business, I'd have a line outside the door waiting to buy. Why? Because there's a clearly defined value proposition there. People perceive value. They're saying to themselves, gee, for 50 bucks, I get $100 worth of value. And this is the essence of making money. I know that's a rudimentary example, but here's another example. Here's my book. I've sold thousands of these books. I've created this on my own out of nothing. And yet, why have people bought this book? Why have they opened up their wallet and said, you know what, I'm going to give you 10 bucks for it, or 15, or wherever they found it? It's because they perceive a value equation. They say, you know what, for 10 bucks, I'm going to get some value out of this book. I'm going to get some great ideas out of this book. It's going to help me. There's a value equation, and that's clearly defined. And if you go on Amazon, look at some of the reviews, it will say, boy, I would have spent $100 on this book. This book was worth thousands to me. That is a clearly defined value proposition that compels people to open up their wallet and give you money. So that is the essence of making money. If you want to make money, stop thinking about making money and start thinking about the value equation. What value have you created? What invention have you made? What do you offer to the world that will compel people to give you money? Because if you're sitting around saying, I want to make money, what in effect you're saying is, the translation is, I want to create value. I want to convince somebody to give me money. That's what making money is. You're trying to convince somebody to give it to you. So, to wrap this up, if you want to start making money, start making value. Start creating value. And then what's going to happen is the money will start coming to you versus you having to come to it or you chasing it. So, thanks for watching. Name's MJ DeMarco. Have a fantastic day.